This one comes from, I don't like that look. Let's do this look. It's about the questions. It's not about me. CK Streams comes through with the first question, and he says, Mazik speaks, curious to know what's on the wish list for a college hoops game. We're probably too far out at this point, but one day. Honestly, man, I really think that 2K will probably drop college hoops 2K. I would think maybe next year. If it's not next year, then we're probably looking at college hoops 2K24. But I'm gonna call it college hoops 2K23, which would mean that it would come out in 2022. So, Frank, I appreciate your support from Germany, but that's just what I think. But here's the thing: one of the main things that they're going to have to do, 2K, when I say this, is they're going to have to figure out, like, from a resources standpoint, how are they going to dedicate, because a different team has to work on the game, right? So obviously we'll probably run the same engine as 2K, but there's going to be some differences. So I would think that a different team would work on the game. Now, they already have a whole nother team that they had that worked on current gen version of NBA 2K21. So I think they may have the people already in place for this. But this question itself inspired me to drop what I want to call my I'm going to call it my college hoops 2K23 wish list. So this is like the stuff, in my opinion, that if they're going to do a college hoops game, which I believe is going to happen in light of everything that we've seen with the NCAA and players being able to be paid. And we're going to talk a little bit about college football a little bit later on. But this is what I think needs to be in the game if they're going to really, really hit a college hoops game up the way it needs to be. So the number one thing for me is a scouting component, right? You got to have a scouting component, because that's really kind of how this whole thing, like, if you're talking about a college basketball, college game, period, you need like the scouting in a professional franchise mode, like for a Madden or 2K, is important, but is, for whatever reason, it's not quite as important to the overall quality of a dynasty mode, like when you're recruiting high school players to try to get them to come to your school. So scouting like the best college basketball players in the world or in the nation or whatever, having that component in there, they have to put a lot of work into that part. I almost want to say that is, for me, the most important component. The second most important component, or I don't even know if I want to rank these, but I would say this definitely is right there. If it's going to be college hoops 2K, and it's going to be made obviously by 2K, you really need to be able to export the draft class to NBA 2K. Now, I will give 2K so much credit for the way they handled the exit of college hoops from the whole stratosphere, because originally the way they used to have it was college hoops 2K7 and 8. I can't remember if it went back further than that. But you could take the graduating classes off of the old college hoops games and upload them into NBA 2K. But then, so obviously in 2007, that was the last time we saw a college hoops game. What NBA 2K did at that point was allowed you to create your own draft classes, which kind of helped fill that gap as far as it was connecting to NBA 2K. But if you're going to bring college hoops back, that is a must. It's a must. And I would like to see it in year one. I really wouldn't want to have to wait. You're going to have a lot of people frustrated if you make them have to wait for the second and third iteration of the college hoops game to have that incorporated. My number 3 thing is college atmosphere. This is important because one of the biggest things that sets the NBA game apart from the college game is almost as much as the rule set differences, shorter 3-point lines and all of that. And almost as much as that is just college basketball games feel different than NBA games. A lot of times the venues are smaller and more intimate. It's louder. You have the band music and all this different kind of stuff that's going on. The crowd looks different. Just everything looks and feels different. Some of the offense, many of the offenses are different because of a longer shot clock. Everything everything's different. So that atmosphere needs to be felt in a different way. The number 4 thing I have is customizable conferences and rules. So I know the Big Ten is the Big Ten, the Pac-12 is the Pac-12, and the Big East is whatever, and all of those different things. I know the makeup, but one of the things that I feel like is important in franchise modes, and essentially a dynasty mode is the equivalent of a franchise mode in a college sports game, is the flexibility and the customization. Now, this is where you could potentially run into an issue, maybe with the NCAA or something like that, or maybe the schools themselves. Maybe the schools are like, we don't want the people to be able to move our new schools around. Maybe or may or not happen. I don't know. But as long as they're not blocked legally from doing this, I would love to see you be able to customize conferences, because let's be honest, there's a couple schools and different things that are not part of a conference that should be, or geographically they don't line up as like in a way that makes sense. Maybe if you can make your own super conferences and stuff like that, I think that would be really dope. And then just being able to customize the rules. So maybe if you want to play, like, okay, we changed the college rules, if you want to do this, to play with different shot clocks, take the 3-point shot away, different things like that, very similar to what they allow you to do in NBA 2K with adjusting and playing with the rules. I think that would be pretty dope. My next thing is a strong player editor. We've seen, to me right now, if you look at all of the sports video games and you look at all of the creative player models, creative player suites, WWE 2K has the best one. But I would say second to that, and probably most applicable from a traditional sports standpoint, is MLB The Show. You can pretty much make just about anybody you want to make in MLB The Show. Just like, for the most part, whoever you want to make, you could probably make them, right? So that, to me, is what you kind of want to emulate if you can. That level of customization is kind of where you want to be with it. So I'm hoping that that's where we land as far as that is concerned. All right, my next thing is, and this is the last thing on this, is create a school. You gotta be able to create your own school if you're gonna do college hoops 2K the right way. You can't just have it where I'm stuck playing Georgetown or whatever. That's what most people are gonna play, and that's totally cool. But you need that creative school, just like we really need creative team options and stuff like that, which NBA 2K has, one of the best, if not the best. But creative school is a necessity if we're talking about doing college hoops 2K 23, 24, whichever one you want to call it, if you're talking about doing it the right way. So like I said, I'm gonna try to blow out these answers just like I did last week, and come up with the best kind of responses for you guys.